Boom! What's up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, what else could we possibly be talking about aside from Bitcoin and Riot Blockchain? You guys, Bitcoin miners, cryptocurrencies, crypto equities are all on absolute fire right now. And if you've been around for a while, you would know that these assets hold a very special place in my heart, and I'm sure many of yours. Riot Blockchain was the first stock that I ever made an investing focused video about. A lot of the net worth that I have today can be attributed to the gains I made in my early Riot Blockchain's options trades way back in 2020. So I'm always pumped to see Riot doing well, Mara doing well, all the other Bitcoin miners, Bitfarms, BTBT doing well, of course. And the king itself, Bitcoin, up almost double digits, about to scratch up 10% in the past 24 hours as I record this. So I pumped, you guys. As far as YouTube content's concerned, it's been a little bit since we talked about Bitcoin and Riot Blockchain, so I'm really pumped to make this video right now. And again, I'm always pumped to see our day ones performing so well, especially on a day where the S&P 500 wasn't doing too hot. It actually closed the day red. So growth sectors or risk assets are looking hot. As you guys know, over Waves Capital, that is our area of expertise and definitely our favorite area to trade and talk about. So I'm pumped, you guys. Things are looking up, and I really hope they can keep up and the bulls can maintain control. So as always, we will, of course, be discussing technicals. We'll kick it off with Bitcoin, because ultimately the price action of Bitcoin will have a significant impact on that of Riot Blockchain and all Bitcoin miners. And then we will move to Riot Blockchain and close it out with, I wouldn't say my best case scenario price target, but definitely an optimistic price target. That's honestly, I'm pretty damn confident we'll see. So kick it off with Bitcoin, move on to Riot Blockchain, talk some technicals, talk about, why the pop that we saw in the past 24 hours was so critical for the bulls, and just reinforce those upside price targets, okay? But first, before we get to what many of you probably perceive to be the fun stuff, we got to talk the macro, because at this moment in time, the fundamentals are, of course, always relevant, like they are at all points in time. But right now, the fundamentals are extremely important. There's a lot going on in the macro. We all know about the bank runs that have been going on in the not necessarily bailouts, but the government stepping in to save the day and act as the hero. So I really want to discuss the macro. I haven't talked about the SVB, the Silicon Valley Bank issue. I guess Silvergate too, but mainly focusing on SVB and what's going on with major banks right now, and why I actually think some of the downfalls that we've experienced there and the fallouts that banks are seeing is good news for the markets. And based on the price action we saw today, and again, risk assets specifically, it's looking pretty damn good. Okay, so let's read over this. We'll talk inflation. We'll talk about upcoming fundamental catalysts that are going down as soon as tomorrow into next week. Very significant stuff happening. So let's just get to reading, you guys, and then we'll talk this fun stuff. We'll talk price action. All right, before we do, as always, please let me know in the comments down below. Are you pumped on this price action? And are you holding Riot shares, Riot calls like we are? And if so, congrats. So look forward to celebrating with you guys in the comments downstairs. Let's get to reading. So it's Monday. Whenever you guys are watching this, the principles still apply. The bulls are regaining strength as we kick off the new week. Although Silicon Valley Bank customers have been assured that their deposits will be fine, the psychological contagion is still in effect. And this is causing for a continued sell-off amongst bank stocks today. So if you guys look up, I think JP Morgan and like Morgan Stanley and stuff held up pretty well. But even if you look at like Wells Fargo, if you look at some of the other more mid-sized banks, not like the top 2 or 3, but when you get to like 5 to 10th biggest banks in the US, they were all down like 5-6% today. So crazy stuff, you guys. But hey, at least our favorites are performing well, and that's huge. So as you can see above, the bank heavy Dow. So again, legacy sectors are legacy stocks, legacy companies fill up the Dow Jones. Is being significantly outperformed by the tech-heavy NASDAQ. You can see Dow up 0.33%, the NASDAQ up almost 1 full percent more as we closed out the day. So, and although this may be alarming to legacy investors, it's ultimately good news for Waves Capital. Okay? I'll continue to echo this one. There's always a bull market somewhere. As legacy investors become less appealing to investors, capital will look to find a home elsewhere. And that home appears to be growth assets / tech. Tech stocks are heating up, which I like to see. But the crypto markets are on absolute fire, as I just said, which I love to see. Bitcoin has climbed nearly 15% in the past 24 hours, and Bitcoin miners are popping off in proper fashion. So again, on TradingView, up almost 10%. But actually, when you're talking about the last day and a half or so, when we started this rally on Sunday, we are up about 15%. Bonkers. So again, Bitcoin miners ripping in proper fashion as well. Makes sense. I know we're not as heavily positioned in Riot Blockchain as we have been in the past, as many of you know. Again, right now, focuses on AI, but thankfully still have a very meaningful call options position in Riot Blockchain. That's, of course, printed for us today, so pumped on that. But regardless, the primary reason I love to see crypto doing so well isn't the gains. It's not necessarily gains. It is the fact that the crypto markets act as a great indicator for overall risk appetite. Okay, so crypto markets, pretty much the pinnacle of risk assets, of volatile markets, of high beta, just financial assets, okay? Which means high volatility. It's good for us specifically. Again, Waves Cap, when I say it's good, you guys, I'm really, it makes sense to be selfish, I guess, because I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking about us. When I say that, I'm talking specifically about us. Again, legacy investors, if you're holding bank stocks or call options on bank stocks, you're not doing so good. But for us, this is good news. So I just want to clarify that. Anyway, as of today, growth assets hold favor over legacy assets. And as we're all well aware, Waves Cap is almost entirely positioned in growth assets. I don't want to come out and say that we're in the clear just yet, but things are definitely looking up as far as the macro trend is concerned. This is also happening while levels of technical extreme fear on the good old fear and greed index continue to plague the markets, which gives me even more confidence. Zoom out a little bit. Which gives me even more confidence in the idea that any further downside amongst our positions is unlikely. Okay, so these heightened levels of fear also give me reason to believe. Actually, move this in the middle. These heightened levels of fear also give me a reason to believe that the surprise factor when it comes to tomorrow's February CPI report, March 14th, mark the date. Tomorrow's going to be a huge day for the markets, you guys. So strap in, or I guess buckle up, because we're either going to go into a free fall or rip and probably go parabolic. So either way, there's going to be a big move tomorrow. That is, in my mind, an absolute given. So either way, strap in, I guess. Lends itself to the upside. So sum it up, I think as far as upside surprise is concerned, because the markets are so extremely fearful, and because most investors, I think, believe tomorrow's inflationary data will come in pretty hot. Even me, as someone who's a very optimistic individual, and usually, this is probably the most unsure I've been of a CPI report. So I don't even want to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in hotter or cooler. I really don't know, given the weird range of metrics that the CPI report is based upon. So I don't know, but I'm an optimist. I still think, I think all things considered with this bank situation as well, the surprise factor favors the upside, or favors the bulls. Okay, so when something becomes consensus and or majority belief, then it's typically time to pivot. Fearful when greedy, and greedy when fearful. Who said that? I know pretty much all of you guys know. Drop it in the comments, be the first. Sometimes it's important and lucrative to be a contrarian thinker. So that's what I've been saying a lot, you guys. Again, a lot of times you have to go against the grain. And this applies to many things in life, not just trading. Again, go against the grain. Again, fearful when greedy, greedy when fearful, and especially when we're playing such a psychologically based game as investing, trading, when you're dealing with a lot of very high performance and very expensive algorithms and quant funds. You have to play that psychological aspect of the game, because that's the X factor, okay? So, again, right now, Fear and greed index. That's why I like this so much, especially when we're on either end of the spectrum, because especially now, there's really no reason to be extremely fear. The bank thing was scary, but that's pretty much been fixed. So no reason to really be extremely fearful, at least in my opinion. And again, it's never good to be too polarized or too far in one direction. And again, there's many parallels to not only this, but everything in life as well. So again, never be too polarized. Tomorrow's data will also be extremely relevant towards the actions that the Fed chooses to take in their next meeting, in their meetings next week. Honestly, though, I think that this whole bank shock will overshadow the CPI report, even in the case that it indicates rising inflation. This would be a good thing because it would give the Fed the opportunity to step in as the hero to the American economy following an entire year of being the villain. So if they come in, start lowering interest rates, start bailing out, not bailing out the banks, but giving U.S. customers of these banks, again, they're not bailing out the banks. These banks are gone. Again, SVB, they're going. They might be acquired. They might be bought out. It's pretty likely that happens, but they're in a bad place. Their investors in SVB shares, bad place. But the innocent individuals, the small businesses with like 10 to 100 employees who would have gotten absolutely smoked and unfairly so, they're getting their money back, which is good. And that reinforces the confidence of the U.S. consumer and small business owner in not just SVB, but the big thing here is kind of the sentiment this creates around all regional banks in the country. So again, not JP Morgan Chase, not Wells Fargo, not like the top 4 or 5, but I'm talking like, the mom and pop, not mom and pop banks, the hometown banks, okay? Federal credit unions and whatnot. So anyway, the FOMC Fed meetings begin on the 22nd, so we won't know whether this will be the case or not until next week. But it appears that economists at Goldman share a similar idea to myself. So I did attach this. I believe this was from a CNBC Pro article from this morning, but this was about how Goldman Sachs actually believes that the Fed is going to pause interest rate hikes. I'm not going to say that I'm extremely confident. There's a 10 bagger right there. I'd love to see it. Anyway, I'm not going to say that I'm extremely confident in the fact that the Fed will pause. But what's good is that the Fed is now pricing in a 0.25 basis point hike, or a 25 basis point hike, or 0.25%, okay, as opposed to a 50 basis point hike, or 0.5%, which is huge when you're talking about interest rates, okay? So if it's 0.25%, I think we're good, and if inflation data is good, that's fire, but if they pause interest rates, we are going absolutely parabolic. So I just read this, but let's read over this. Then we got one more line to close it out into the charts. In light of the stress in the banking system, we no longer expect the FOMC to deliver a rate hike in its meeting on March 22nd. Goldman economist Jen H. said in a Sunday note. I don't want to butcher that last name. The firm expects the latest measures to provide substantial liquidity to banks facing deposit outflows and boost confidence amongst depositors. Again, if the Fed pauses interest rates, this is what it all comes down to, you guys. Don't fight the Fed. Interest rates rule all. Cliches of the game for a reason. The markets are going to go ballistic, and we are going up, and we're going up fast, okay? So the bull in me, we'll close it out here. Not going to talk trades, of course. Keep that exclusive to the portfolio group. But the bull in me has almost completely reemerged, and I now believe the macro upside potential significantly outweighs the macro downside risk. That said, I did still feel it necessary to use the pop we saw today to create a small hedge position just in case tomorrow's CPI data is scalding hot. So again, always a smart move, you guys, to stay hedged. Even if you're bullish, no matter how bullish you are on something, stay hedged. I've learned that the hard way many times before, and I'm still learning it. But right now, I am hedging. There are still fundamental catalysts that could throw curveballs at the markets, although everything, especially, again, growth assets are looking so promising. But right now, you guys, crypto looking good, AI looking good, the Waves portfolio looking hot right now, so I'm pumped on that. And of course, you guys, if you do want to trade with me on a daily basis, if you want these daily newsletters that I read through every morning, this is the second of 3 daily newsletters that I write every single trading day. The first is a trade alert, giving you guys my trades in real time. The second is this one, my trade analysis and or macro analysis. And then the third is price targets, where we cover, all the relevant charts to Waves Capital, all the AI charts, all the crypto charts, and, macro charts as well. So if you guys are interested, it's the first link in the description box. Complete portfolio and daily newsletter. It's 15 bucks a month, you guys, or 40 bucks for every 3 months. Completely up to you. You can even try it free for 7 days. And if you don't like it, which I really don't think will be the case, you can always just peace out whenever you want. So go check it out. First link in the description. If so, welcome to the team. Look forward to having you. And if not, no worries. I appreciate you watching this. Let's talk some price action. Keep it short and sweet. And, call it a day, you guys. And go grab a drink. So, Bitcoin, again, looking so damn strong. Let's actually get a quick price range from the bottom candle wick on March 10th to the top where we're at right now, almost 20. Let's keep it right there because that's a clean 25% move up. Got to make that green. So clean 25% move up. Freaking love to see it. That is amazing. And as Bitcoin has climbed, a few things have happened. Let's start with the RSI, stochastic RSI on the daily level, which indicates, I would say just medium term kind of price direction. Regular RSI, relative strength index, this indicator right here on the bottom, has surpassed or broken back above its EMA or exponential moving average. This is good. Stochastic RSI, good old blue curled over bad old red, I guess. I guess neither of them are good or bad, but when blue curls over red to the upside, that typically indicates that more upside is to come, and we just curled up and we got some momentum on that curl up. That's good to see. As we've popped as well, 25% jump up has allowed Bitcoin to reclaim this prior ascending channel. This yellow line right here is Bitcoin's line of support on that ascending channel. We have reclaimed supports, and in doing so, again, this ascending channel has been reclaimed and therefore is once again in play. It only makes sense to me. And sure, of course, short-term resistance was broken. This green line right here. Probably should make that red. Or purple. This purple line was broken. Short-term resistance. That's when we saw that massive, that massive second wave, that massive super short-term second wave happen. So again, we're really looking good right now. To sum up my thoughts here, I do think that Bitcoin, and this is a conservative line of resistance, but because it plays so perfectly, I'm actually just going to line it up like this. I actually think Bitcoin over the next 2 weeks, I'll say 2 weeks, April 1st. I think by April 1st, Bitcoin can finally come up to achieve my target range, which is Bitcoin's previous low on the overall downtrend prior to breaking that downtrend and executing a macro reversal, long-term reversal. Bitcoin has not yet retested this low. This is the candle wick low that we saw in a single wick, so I wouldn't even count that. But I actually think Bitcoin can make its way up to the low to mid 28,000s. And, that would line up perfectly with the line of resistance on this reclaimed ascending channel on March 31st or April 1st. Okay, so I think Bitcoin can see $27,000 or over by the end of the month. And, if Bitcoin's doing good, Riot's going to do good as well. I'm extremely confident in the fact, honestly, as of right now, that Riot is going to play out this inverse, really long-term inverse head and shoulders pattern. That's over Waves Cap. We have been eyeballing for a while now. So, again, inverse head and shoulders pattern. The good twin, the good cousin, the good inverse twin of the head and shoulders pattern. Again, inverse head and shoulders pattern resolves itself to the upside because it's upside down. Eloquently said. But, okay, so anyway, you see the base of this first shoulder right here, just above $10, $10.25 we'll call it, right? Came down, created this first shoulder. You get the head, you get both necklines. This is a little janky, but again, the psychological pattern, the psychological aspect of this still holds strong. Again, sideways movement, dump down. We reclaimed that same parallel to each other, these shoulders that are parallel to each other, nice and symmetrical when it comes to kind of the range they're trading in. And this looks to me like a very clean inverse head and shoulders pattern. This is massive. We're seeing volume returns from my fat head, so we can see today's volume, 23 mil in volume on 12 mil average, so almost 2x the average daily volume today. That's amazing to see. And again, Riot, although they've been having a few rough quarters from a financial perspective, still an amazing company, still scaling operations at a very impressive pace. And, I will retain bullishness in this company probably for the rest of time, to be honest, just because I believe in the team and everything going on with the project. So, Riot, in the case that we can break short-term resistance, this orange line right here, if Bitcoin sees another green day, it's almost inevitable to me that Riot does as well. Same here. Again, daily stochastic RSI and standard RSI looking very strong. if RAT breaks this orange line of resistance right here, if CPI is cool tomorrow, this will inevitably happen. Then I think it's going to be a pretty clean climb up, honestly, to $10 plus. Okay, so always know, you guys, money's where my mouth is. I'm pumped to ride. I wouldn't even call this wave 2, but I mean, honestly, you guys, if CPI data is good, I mean, AI and all our AI plays are for sure going to explode. So really excited for what's to come, you guys, and I hope you are as well. Once again, if you want to trade with me, if you're not yet a part of Waves Capital for real, first link in the description box. I'll see you guys inside, and if not, I'll see you in the comments downstairs to celebrate with you guys, because we're looking good right now. So I appreciate you guys watching. This might be the last video of the week, but if not, I'll see you in the next one in a few days. And of course, as always, I'll see you newsletter members in the morning. Okay? So until next time, you guys, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.